Welcome to lesson 3.1 of your Dynamic Small Business Search course. In this lesson, we'll take a minute and review the purpose of NAICS codes to the federal government buyer. The North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS codes, allow federal buyers a high level of comparability, which basically means that they can see who's buying what across the federal government similar to what they're buying. If I go to the grocery store, as you can see here, bananas have a code of 9011. In a grocery store, it's not really a banana to the cashier. They look at something like a banana or a grape and they have a code for it. So in this case, it's 9011. Similarly, in the federal government, when they go to buy bananas, they might look at this NAICS code of 111339, which is banana farming, right? For example, I do software development as part of what I do, and that can be defined in many different ways using words. But when you use codes, it comes down to just a few. There's a couple of core software development NAICS codes that are out there, and we all have them. You need to know which codes define what you sell. A couple of things to keep in mind. NAICS codes are always 6 digits. Never embarrass yourself with the federal government by putting in 5 or 4 and think you're trying to get a whole grouping of NAICS codes. That is not what the government wants to see, and when they see that, they just bypass you, frankly. So make sure that you know that your NAICS codes all must have 6 numbers. The second thing to keep in mind is when you're doing any kind of management of your NAICS, that's done in sam.gov. You don't have a limit on the number of NAICS selected, and I know some people have different opinions about this, and my opinion is choose all the NAICS that are relevant to what you do within SAM. So inside of your SAM profile, your SBA profile, your DSBS profile, it's okay to have a whole bunch, because the reality is no one's really going to come in there and look at all of them and go, wow, Neil's got 50 of them. They're going to be searching for keywords NAICS, and they'll quickly find us and move on. That's different than your capability statement, which I'll talk to you about in a different course. There, you really don't want to crowd it with too many NAICS. 10 or so is a good number, and they all need to be kind of related to each other. Because that's what people are going to see physically on a piece of paper. But when it's in a computer, make sure you have all the ones that are relevant to you based on what you're going to learn in this module. And so the last thing, just mention this again, that NAICS codes, they're in DSBS, so when they do searches, that's what they use, is NAICS codes and keywords to find small businesses that are eligible. The next thing is inside of RFPs, those are requests for proposals, or when the government's trying to buy something, they'll say we're buying it using this NAICS code, meaning you must have that NAICS code in your SAM profile. And then same thing when they award a contract, they'll award it based on a certain NAICS. And so it's really important that you understand that. That concludes lesson 3.1. Let's head on into the next lesson and get a move on with your initial NAICS codes.